Let's just get right into it, because we are completely shattering a major illusion today. You probably picture Canada as this incredibly polite, perfectly fair, egalitarian paradise, right? Well, prepare for a serious reality check. The hard data tells a wildly different story. We're looking at pure, peer-reviewed evidence exposing a system where a tiny fraction of insiders basically holds all the cards. We're talking undeniable numbers that prove the structure actively disadvantages the general public. So let's dive into the stats.
Is Canada actually democratic? Sure, you can vote for a prime minister. But what about the boardrooms? Who actually controls the corporations that dictate your job and your wealth? The findings here are going to feel like a slap in the face. You'd think the economic playing field is level. It absolutely is not. A microscopic elite holds the keys, and the average person completely locked out. And this isn't just a recent trend, it's a structural reality baked into decades of financial data. It's a crazy contrast. In politics, if a leader stinks, you vote them out, right? That's basic accountability. But in Canadian business, there is a massive, gaping void. They lack what economists call shareholder democracy. In a normal, healthy market, if management is running a company into the ground, small shareholders can team up and kick them out. But here, your voice means literally nothing. The entrenched oligarchy ensures you can't touch them, and the whole economy suffers because of it. And we can actually measure how bad this is. It's called total factor productivity, which is really just a fancy way of measuring how good a country is at turning resources into actual wealth. It's the ultimate scorecard. Look at this. From 1995 to 2008, Sweden crushed it with a 23% increase. The US hit 19%. Canada, a pathetic 10%. That is not a rounding error. It violently exposes the fact that Canadian firms need way more money and sweat just to match what their global peers are doing. It's a catastrophic lag in basic competence.
Now, don't write this off as just some abstract Wall Street problem. This catastrophic inefficiency directly hits your wallet. Poor corporate governance literally suppresses your wages. This is exactly why Canadian income consistently lags behind the US. Less wealth created at the top means less money for you. You are working just as hard, maybe harder, but you are getting paid less. This structural drag on their corporations is a direct structural drag on your personal bank account.
This whole setup is so disastrous, it actually takes a healthy dose of dark sarcasm just to stomach it. Look at this quote from Professor Randall Mork, a heavy hitter in this field. He joked that maybe Canadians just appreciate the freedom from evil that comes with low productivity, anemic wealth creation, low wages, and high unemployment. I mean, wow, he hits the nail on the head. The system treats making money like a sin, and chronic, severe underperformance is just totally tolerated.
Okay, if you want hard proof of this total lack of accountability, look at corporate takeovers. This graph is a smoking gun. See the US line? A buyout is announced, and boom, the stock jumps that very day. Normal market reaction. Now look at Canada's levitating dotted line. The price suspiciously floats up 2 to 3 months before the public even knows. It's undeniable. Secrets are leaking, insiders are trading early, and the market is moving on information you and I simply do not have. When researchers actually zoomed out and looked at every major stock exchange on the planet, the results were jaw-dropping. The raw statistics show Canada literally turns a blind eye to the most profitable insider trading in the entire developed world. Let that sink in. Insiders act on secret info, make an absolute killing, and the system totally protects them. It's a rigged game, completely baked into the market environment. So how do they get away with it? Well, look at this number. 0. Before the year 2010, do you know how many genuine criminal convictions Canada had for insider trading? 0. Down in the US, high-profile executives get perp-walked and thrown in jail for this stuff all the time. But in Canada? Sure, the rules exist on paper, but enforcement was a total ghost town. The risk of getting caught was literally nothing compared to the massive piles of cash they were making.
So you've got to be wondering, how on earth do these elite families keep this iron grip? How do they dodge all accountability and rake in the cash? Spoiler alert, it's not illegal backroom deals. Nope, they use highly engineered, 100% legal corporate structures. It's a mathematical system designed to use your money while ensuring you have absolutely zero say. Let's break down exactly how they do it.
Their favorite magic trick is called pyramiding. Here's how it works. An oligarch family controls Company A. They take the public's money and use Company A to buy a 51% controlling stake in Company B. Then Company B does the exact same thing to Company C. With every step down the pyramid, the family is using less and less of their own actual money, but they keep total, absolute control over the whole empire. It's brilliant, really. They command billions, but they only risk their own pennies.
And here is the craziest part.
For a developed Western nation, this is completely bizarre. Franklin D. Roosevelt literally outlawed these robber baron pyramid schemes in America way back in the 1930s because they were dangerously anti-competitive. The UK smashed theirs by the 60s, but Canada went the exact opposite direction. The way Canadian wealth is concentrated looks way more like an emerging market oligarchy than a modern Western economy. Everyone else democratized while Canada consolidated.
Then there is weapon number 2, dual-class shares. The setup is brutally simple. A company issues 2 different types of stock. You, the public, buy the restricted shares. You get exactly 1 vote per share. But the insiders? They keep the superior shares, which magically give them tens or even hundreds of votes for a single share. So you take on all the financial risk, but they keep a permanent, unbreakable veto over everything the company does. No way you're winning that fight.
To see just how insanely valuable this rigged setup is, look at what happened in 2010 with Magna International. The insider, Frank Stronach, was asked to give up his superior voting shares so the company could be normal. His price? He demanded, and actually got, an absolutely astronomical 1,800% premium over the regular stock price, just to give up his unfair voting advantage. That literally puts a massive dollar amount on how lucrative it is to hold all the power.
Obviously, regular investors were furious. Massive middle-class pension funds screamed in protest, calling out this absurd wealth transfer. But guess what happened? The Canadian courts and regulators just sat back and let the oligarchs win. They did absolutely nothing. The system functioned exactly as it was designed to. It violently protected the insiders' massive payout while forcing the public to eat the losses.
Now, this democratic deficit isn't just some boring financial theory. It is secretly bleeding you dry. Look at this. Canadian workers have massive pension funds, and a huge chunk of that money is pumped right into these domestic markets. But because of those pyramids and those dual-class shares we just talked about, your massive pension funds have zero voting leverage. They are huge players, but they are totally trapped in a manipulated market. The money goes in, but the influence is locked out.
So what does this all mean? It means this oligarchy is actively wasting your retirement savings. Every single time corporate insiders make terrible decisions without facing any consequences, they are directly destroying the value of your portfolio. Remember that miserable productivity growth? That's your savings stagnating. Remember the unpunished insider trading? That's you getting ripped off. The research proves this corporate concentration is basically a massive, hidden tax on your future. The hard data leaves zero room for doubt. The game is completely rigged against your savings. Canada's corporate elites rely on these deeply entrenched architectures to take your money while keeping all the power, trailing the rest of the world in productivity and basic fairness. So as global markets demand more transparency, we're left with one incredibly urgent question. Your money is funding this oligarchy. When are you going to demand your vote back?